Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. Today we're kind of just going to be doing Slop. It's kind of something you can just kind of throw in the background of whatever you're doing. You can watch it fully, I mean, if you really want to watch this not very good Mario Kart gameplay. But I kind of like just chilling and playing Mario Kart, and I also kind of like yapping, so I thought I'd mix the two. What's it called? Probably a good format to milk out of reels or something, but I don't know if I'm built for that. Maybe the lights are too bright. Anyways, I'm just going to be talking about random Reddit stories that I found or just random, nothing. Yeah. So I hope you enjoy it. All right, this first one is: am I the asshole for calling my friend's husband a useless piece of shit? Okay. Off the rip, I'm thinking, uh, maybe. Let's see. My best friend and her husband have 4 kids: 8 female, 6 female, 4 female, and 3 female. My friend's husband is a great dad. When someone is there to help, when he's alone with all 4 kids, he gets overwhelmed and freezes. A few weeks ago, my friend was sick, so I brought over dinner. We thought it was just a bad cold. When we were eating, my friend went up to the bathroom and the 3-year-old followed her. The 3-year-old came running out to say mommy was throwing up. All the kids ran to the bathroom, followed by me and my friend's husband. I helped her clean up while her husband went to go get her nausea medication and a thermometer. When he came back, I asked him to get the kids out the bathroom so she could have some space. After we got the kids out, I took her temp and it came back at almost 104. So I went out to get her some Tylenol and water. I get back and the kids are all in the bathroom again because their dad can't keep them away from the bathroom for 2 minutes. I give her the Tylenol and water and she almost immediately starts to vomit again, then passes out. Her husband just stood there while I was trying to get her into the recovery position, get the kids away from her, and call 911. I managed to get them all out, and her husband is coming back every 20 seconds to asking if I can call the nanny to help with the kids. If I can go to the hospital with her, did I start the dishwasher, or does she need does she need to hand wash the youngest sippy cup? When my friend regained consciousness, he even started asking her how to do bedtime for the little ones. Did she wash their pajamas yet? Did they get screen time for that day, or can he put on a movie? I told him his wife can't hold his hand right now and he just has to figure it out. He told me he's not usually the one that deals with this and he's trying his best. Then goes back to asking what stories the kids like, what setting does he put on the sound machine, and how do they like their milk. I just snapped and told him to figure it out on his own and called him a useless piece of shit. It's been nearly a month since this, and he still acts all pissy when I stop by the house. My friend says he'll get over it soon, but my boyfriend thinks I was unnecessarily rude and he was trying his best. Am I the asshole for calling him a useless piece of shit when he can't handle his own kids while his wife was experiencing a medical emergency? I feel like that was a little bit of a short one, and I feel like it's kind of cut and dry. Um, Definitely, I don't think she's the asshole. She probably should have been a little harsher. I mean, the lady needed 911, and he's sitting there talking about sippy cups and how he can't handle the kids and how he needs to call a nanny for something that's not even trivial at all. I feel like it's weird for a husband not be able to do those small things, like put the kids to bed, know how they like their milk, like what, or like run the dishwasher. I feel like this is something that I don't know. I thought that was something that ended a long time ago, where husbands had no idea what they were doing around the house or with kids. But I guess it's still going on strong because this post was literally like less than a month ago. And then I'm going to read one of the comments here. Honestly, I think you were too kind. Would you have even called 911 if you weren't there, or just shaken her awake to ask her why she was slacking off? This dude is not a good dad. He's cosplaying while his wife works herself to serious illness. I bet she hasn't given any help. I bet she hasn't been given any help to recover either. I would make it my life mission to make this dude miserable and get my friend ready for a divorce. She's already a single mom. Removing him would be a net drop in care work because she has to parent him as well. OP said she spent 3 days in the hospital and her dad stayed at the house for a week to help out, and I stopped by whenever I could to check on things, so she was able to recover in peace for the most part. Yeah, this is just. Another comment said she should divorce the husband and use the child support to have the nanny move in. And the OP said her dad wasn't in her life growing up, so she stays with him, so her kids have a dad / so she has a family. I don't agree with her choices, but I understand them. And someone said, is there any possibility of her going to therapy? I get where she's coming from with her choices, but equally she's modeling some unhealthy things for the children by staying with this guy. She can get therapy, but she doesn't want to, says OP. Okay. Well, I mean, if you want to stay with that guy, yeah. I mean, it's just, this isn't good. And then this comment says, not the asshole. Dad of 2 boys under age of 9. And nothing pisses me off more than lazy, uninvolved dads. It's not rocket science. It's fucking bedtime. And it's appalling that he knows nothing about the bedtime routine. Those are some of my best moments and best memories I've ever made with my boys. Someone said, couldn't agree more. If I'm going to be away, I'll organize schools / pick up, drop off if needed. Not so much anymore, but I'll maybe have a shop and maybe do a shop before I go. Do a shop? Must be a different country. Before I go, because my husband works longer hours than I do. Apart from that, I can go away and know that my children will be absolutely fine. Because, like you, my husband actually gives a shit about his children and is involved in their lives. He actually likes me going away every so often so he can get time with him and just the girls. Yeah, I just, I don't think OP is the asshole at all. I think that person's just an absolutely putrid father. But his kids won't not like him because he babies them and does all that shit. I mean, that child's 8 and 6, and he can't even get them to move out of the house. Whatever. All right, we got another one here. Am I the asshole for telling my brother that the day he was born was the worst day of my life? Okay, I'm going to go on a limb here and say, yes, probably. Context. I, female, was born in 1962. Oh, sweet Jesus. So this person's 60 years old on Reddit? Damn. All right. Fuck. In a rural area before ultrasound machines were everywhere. Okay. Right. And the nearest town was not that close to us, and the babies were born at home and delivered by the same midwife. The babies were born at home and delivered by the same midwife. I don't know what a midwife is, so I'm just going to say, yeah, sure. So when I was 7, my mother got pregnant with twins and had no idea she was carrying 2 babies. And the midwife, who had just delivered the first baby and probably did not realize there was one more to come, had to immediately be driven by my father to another farm where she was needed, which means that when my mother's contractions started again, I was alone in a farm with her and the first newborn baby. And it was up to me to deliver my youngest brother, with my mom instructing me. This was hands down the worst and scariest moment of my life, because I both feared my mother and that the baby wouldn't make it. Well, thankfully, it all worked out. Now, here's what happened. Last weekend, my husband and I were celebrating our 40th wedding anniversary. Jesus, fuck. And we had a party with people who were making speeches and talking about us. But when the mic got to my brother, who, of course, had no firsthand memory of his own birth and only knows what he was told about it, took the chance to tell this story as if it was a fun anecdote. And then my dad got home, and there were 2 babies instead of 1. So funny. Anyways, thanks, sis, for helping me come into this world. And everybody thought it was fun and sweet, but to me, it was the opposite. It brought back some memories that were not all positive to me. My mood completely shifted. And I think my brother noticed, because he came to talk to me afterwards and asked if he had said something wrong. And I told him that it was not a funny story to me, and that the day he was born was indeed the worst day of my life. And not something I'd like to think about in a happy moment, like celebrating my marriage. And he went quiet and then said, wow, I was trying to honor you. And that's how you thought of my speech? The thing is, I wasn't saying my brother being born was a bad thing. I love my brother. It was just that the circumstances of his birth made the occasion traumatic for me, and that he should know better than talking about it as a fun fact if he had put himself in my shoes. But now that I think of it, I should have kept quiet and said nothing, even if it bothered me or not. Let's get one of the comments here. You're the asshole, just because of how you phrased it. I don't know how else someone should take being told the day you were born was the worst day of my life. Had you said the day you were born was very traumatic for me, I was so scared that you and Mom wouldn't make it. That would have conveyed an entirely different sentiment. Right. And then someone replied saying, right, even scariest day of my life would have worked so much better than what she said. That's just crazy. That's crazy to say to your brother. I don't think OP replied to anybody, but I mean, these people are like 60 to 70 years old. Somebody said, You are way too old to act this emotionally unintelligent. You're the asshole. You're the asshole. He told the story as if it was a fun anecdote because also, to him, it's a story of you being a hero. What a devastatingly awful thing to say to your brother. You had to know how it would sound. You could have said the scariest moment of my life or anything like that. Someone said, please get therapy. Gentle, you're the asshole. I totally understand why the situation was traumatic for you, but your brother didn't deserve to be crapped on for something he had no control over. Please seek therapy because obviously you've been carrying this around for decades and haven't been healed. Another, you're the asshole. I get that it was traumatic for you and that it makes complete sense given that you were 7, but you've spent 55 years letting him believe this was a funny story. No way this is the first time that the story has ever been told. And in 55 years, you've never been bothered to explain how scary it was for you. So of course he thinks it's a funny family story. You've let him believe that for over 55 years. These people are just unk. Shit. God damn. Shit, man. Don't know how y'all still kick it. All right. Well, here's another one. Not an am on the asshole, but a relationship advice. My husband, 36 male, shouted, "Contribute more," at me, 34 female, after years of me doing everything. This one's a little longer, by the way. Hi, everyone. I, 34 female, have been with my husband, 36 male, for 10 years, and 3 of those have been happily married. Happy for the most part, actually. Oh, sorry. We both work full-time. He earns double what I do, but we always split everything 50-50. That left me with almost no savings by the end of the month. About 2 years ago, I started pushing back on that because I didn't feel fair, and things changed. But I've been contributing more financially. I also used to handle everything around the house, cleaning, groceries, cooking, scheduling appointments, managing the mental load, etc. He would do house projects, yard work, help with the pets, a few other things from time to time, but the day-to-day stuff was always all on me. So I think I contributed there more than enough. He just doesn't really see it. When our daughter was born, everything changed. I had a really rough postpartum period. She was waking up every hour or more to breastfeed, and I completely burned out after a few months. My mental health tanked. Some days I barely ate, just peanuts or chips or something like that, because I couldn't bring myself to cook. He did then almost all the household chores while I took care of my baby 24/7. Thankfully, my daughter sleeps better now, though she still wakes up early, around 6 a.m. My husband is the one who gets up to get her. He complains about it constantly. I get that he's tired, but after everything I went through during those endless days and nights, it's hard to feel sympathy when I never got that kind of understanding. I eventually hired a cleaning lady for 8 hours a week, 2 4-hour days. So things didn't completely fall apart, but it still feels like we're drowning. This morning, he actually yelled, "Contribute more," and it completely broke me. I'm still working full-time, taking care of our daughter, and doing everything I can to stay afloat, and he still thinks I'm not doing enough. Now, my husband says I complain too much, and okay, maybe I do. I'm exhausted, anxious, and constantly in pain, but instead of trying to talk about things, he leaves the room every time I start speaking. He says he just wants calmness. He says other mean things related to that as well. He also says he's doing too much now. I tried explaining that I overdid it for 10 years and that the imbalance cannot continue. Meanwhile, he still spends 2 to 3 hours a day on his computer, phone, or tablet. He doesn't seem to appreciate what I did or what I'm still trying to do now. And when I mention my anxiety disorder, he kind of brushes it off, even makes fun of it sometimes, and just tells me to get over it and live my life, as if I haven't thought about that already. It's hard to understand when you are not mentally ill. I get that, but I'm battling anxiety every single day, and it's so tough. For the record, he's not lazy. He does a lot, but when he's juggling this much, he just doesn't seem to grasp the invisible load I've carried all this time, which hurts. We've been talking about having another child soon since I don't want a huge age gap, and I don't see myself doing this again at 40, but I'm just so tired. I'm working full-time and spending almost all of my free time taking care of our daughter. I love her more than anything, but it's hard. She doesn't let me do much, and now my husband is realizing how much work there is. I think about a divorce often. For the most part, we've had a great relationship, and I don't want it to affect my daughter. If anyone has been in a similar situation, how did you make it better? What could I do to make my relationship good for the sake of my baby? Communication is almost impossible now. TLDR. All right, whatever. Someone said, "Do not have another child with this man, and your thoughts about divorce are very reasonable. He wants calmness, then he should do his fair share." And the OP replied, "Thank you. That's the problem. Since he started doing more, he has become so bitter, overwhelmed, and unreasonable." And someone said, Yep, but he was fine letting you struggle financially, physically, and mentally. He was fine with taking advantage of you. And now that he has to share that load, he's angry. Please spare your daughter the misery of an angry man who is only okay with making his wife suffer. You will be better off on your own with child support and some free time when he has her. Someone replied to that saying, so true. I didn't realize how much of the load I was carrying for all of us until I caught him cheating and made him move out. I was heartbroken, and I wouldn't wish that pain on anyone, especially the kids. But I discovered I suddenly had more energy, space, sanity, bandwidth, peace, stability, security, and money than ever before in our 11-year marriage. OP's spouse is not on her team, and it's time to quiet quit and get her ducks in a row for a divorce. Another comment said, crazy idea. What if you just stopped contributing at all for a week? Don't even bring in the cleaning lady. You contributed to Holy hiring her, I assume. Just keep up with yourself and the baby, or go visit a friend for a family or for a week and see how he fares with doing it all by himself, house and daughter. If you can't trust him to look alone with your child in the evenings for a week, assuming she is not in some kind of child care since you both work full time, why are you even with this guy? OP replied and said, that's basically what happened. I contributed way less than what he was used to, and now all hell is breaking loose. I had to hire a cleaning lady because I was so overwhelmed. But still, he doesn't realize how much I've done and expects things to go back to the way they were. The truth is that a baby is another full-time job. Someone replied to her saying that and said, friend, he absolutely does realize how much work you were doing. He just wants you to go back to doing it. He's pretending to be oblivious so that you don't realize he knows how much work it is. And he believes that it's your job to be doing it because it's too hard for him. But perfectly normal for his idea of you. Yeah, no. I would agree with one of those comments earlier that said, get your ducks in a line and get ready for a divorce. Because that is crazy. Just, yeah, can you actually do more, please? I'm starting to get sick of you not being able to do stuff. I know you just hit your baby, but I work full time. Oh, you work full-time too? Oh, I don't give a fuck. So she's basically doing 2 full-time jobs and all the chores at home. And he just wants to, work full-time? And then come home and not do anything? Yeah, fuck that. Yeah, fuck that. Alright, last comment. This dude does not respect you. This is why so many women say 50-50 is BS. Most men who propose this are self-serving and do not contribute 50% of the housework, childcare, and relationship maintenance, and the other invisible labor of the relationship. Why are you paying 50% of the bills when you don't make 50% of the household income? Then if the relationship ends, he's in a way better position to move on financially than you are because he stacked his money. And OP said, that's why I changed that 2 years ago. Now we contribute proportionally to our salary, more or less. Someone replied and said, I'm sorry, OP. That is not the way you think it is. It should have been proportional from the beginning, and it should have been him suggesting it if he cared about taking care of you in his partnership. And LP replied saying, you are right. All right, we got a new one. This is another relationship advice. This one is a little long. My 25 male girlfriend's 24 female conventionally attractive friend, 23 female, did a loyalty test on me. I'm not sure how to continue our relationship. Let me just start by saying this. If you're ever testing someone in a relationship, you're done. It's over. There's no chance of doing it. It's never going to end well. If you're testing your partner, you need to break up. There's no reason you should be dating someone and testing them. Anyways, I, 25 male, have been dating Becca. Well, that's what we'll call her. 24 female for 6 months now. Everything was going great until her birthday 2 months ago. Up until then, I've met a couple of her friends, but it was just 1 or 2 at a time. This was the first time meeting a lot of her friends, and the first time I'd be hanging out with them in such a big group. We had what I thought was a great night until that night when I took Becca home. Becca asked me what I thought of her friend Sadie, 23 female. I'd exchanged maybe 2 sentences with Sadie, so I just said that she seemed cool. Becca then asked me if I thought Sadie was pretty, to which I responded she was, but not nearly as pretty as Becca. I thought that was a safe answer because I didn't want to sound like her friend wasn't pretty, but also wanted to let her know that I only had eyes for her. But Becca was like, so you do think she's pretty. I knew it. Pretty and cool. I didn't think much of this because Becca was quite intoxicated, so I brought her some Gatorade and helped her get into bed. I figured Becca wouldn't remember this interaction by the next morning, but she called me and apologized. She explained that Sadie was conventionally attractive and had a history of taking men that Becca wanted, and she didn't want that to happen to me. I assured her that wouldn't happen. I told her the honest truth, which was that with all the new faces I was seeing, I hardly remembered what Sadie even looked like. I told her that if Sadie kept going after men she knew Becca wanted, she should consider distancing herself from Sadie. Again, I thought this would be the end, but for the past 2 months, Sadie has somehow come up in every conversation. Did I follow Sadie's Instagram? Have I talked to Sadie since the party? Every time when I give her a compliment, she brings up Sadie. Just last week when she got a new pair of jeans and I told her how great her butt looked in them, she went on this tirade about how she had to spend so much money to get a pair of jeans that just looked decent on her when Sadie looked like a supermodel in Walmart jeans. I'm not that dumb. I know Becca has complex underlying issues, and the fact that the Sadie fixation is just a manifestation of those insecurities. I don't want to invalidate her, but I get the sense that Sadie is not the problem as much as Becca's insecurities. I feel like I'm a broken record with how much I have to remind her that she's hot and smart, has a great life, a great job, and a great guy, if I do say so myself, lol. But there's no reason for her to compare herself to Sadie or anyone else. That Walmart jeans are trash, but I'm sure she would look in them if she actually wanted some. I suggested therapy, but she just says it's a waste. It seems like nothing I do helps. I know it's her issue and not mine, but it's starting to drain me too. The breaking point came a couple of nights ago, when I got an Instagram DM request from Sadie saying she thought I was cute and was asking if I wanted to hang out sometime. This was followed by a series of DMs basically saying she knew I was with Becca, but she thought I could do better. And if I gave her a chance, she could show me what I was missing. Without responding, I took a screenshot and immediately blocked her. Then yesterday, I showed Becca the screenshot. I fully expected Becca to crash out, but instead she kissed me and told me that she knew she could trust me. I was confused, and she explained that she had Sadie DM me to prove my loyalty to her. Apparently, it's a common thing for women to do, especially if they have a conventionally attractive friend who could probably steal anyone's man. I was completely dumbfounded. I thought people only did this stuff in movies and not real life. I asked Becca if all the anxiety over Sadie was real, or if she had faked that too. She said it was real, but now that she knows I'm loyal to her, she's not worried anymore. She tried to kiss me again, but I pulled away. This might have solved all of her problems, but it created a whole new set of problems for me. I gave her no reason to doubt my loyalty. I never even looked twice at Sadie. I did everything I could to show her how much I cared about her. But then this fake DM for her to trust me? What if she met another hot friend? Or what if one of my coworkers was conventionally attractive? Would we have to do this all over again? I told her I needed space. Becca doesn't understand why I've been distant since yesterday, but she seems to think that everything is resolved since I proved my loyalty. But ironically, I think this may be the breaking point for me in the relationship. I really like Becca, but I can't be with somebody who has zero faith in me. And if I'm going to stay in a relationship with her, I need to communicate to her how this deeply affected me. And make sure she knows not to do this again. How can I do this without invalidating her feelings? And making her turn against me? Update! 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 A lot of you have been asking for an update, so here's what happened in the past few days. I read almost all the comments, and a lot of people were telling me to drop her. Ghost her. Some of you even told me to fuck Sadie. To be truthful, I was not planning on doing either of those things. Some of you were calling me spineless and saying that I had no self-respect, but Becca had so many redeeming qualities despite the stupid test. I thought she was one of the kindest, smartest, most beautiful, driven people I knew. And even though we've only been dating for 6 months, she's been there for me in ways that my previous partner haven't. If there was other red flags, I would have just ended it, but there were none. Until yesterday. After a couple of days of minimal communication, Becca asked if we could talk. I had thought about the best way to say I understood her anxiety, but that her behavior wasn't acceptable. But I wound up not having to say anything because she apologized. She told me that a lot of things about herself, and she knew what she did was wrong, but also hoped I'd understand why she acted that way. It was the first time she had gotten candid with me about this. For her privacy, I won't go into detail, but let's just say she's been through a lot more worse, and it explains, but not excuses. It doesn't excuse her behavior. She even showed me that she had booked an appointment with a therapist. I was ready to put this past us, but she let it slip. The account DM'd me was not actually Sadie, but a bot account she made to impersonate Sadie. And that Sadie had no idea those DMs were sent. This was so appalling to me that I had to end things on the spot. I can handle anxiety and other mental health issues, but to impersonate someone online is something I can't move past. Becca tried calling me and texting me over a couple of days, but she stopped. Even though I think her delusion knows it's over, genuinely, I do wish the best for her. She has some great qualities, but she's seriously messed up in so many ways. I hope that she gets the help she needs, and I can't help her anymore. Whoa. That's all I'll say. I'll just say whoa. That is, like I said, I think if you're doing a loyalty test or a test on your partner, you're already what, 5 fingers deep in the breakup hole. Like, also I've heard a lot of stories, or like I've seen a lot of stuff about girlfriends being like, you think my friend is hot? I don't want to be your girl. Just being like anxious about that, or having like insecurities. But to me, I thought it should always be like, if you have a hot friend, okay, like let's go. Like we have a hot friend. Like my friend is good looking. That should be something we're hyping them up about, and not really using to fuel our insecurities, I don't think. But, I'm not a girl. Don't understand that thought process, so I'm not going to act like I do. But, yeah, I'm glad he broke up with her. If he stayed with her, and then she continually had these issues where it was like insecurities would creep in 95% of the time when they're talking. I think the craziest part is that he stayed with her after she was just talking about Sadie for like, I think he said like 4 weeks straight. Like when he complimented her every time she said something about Sadie. I think 2 weeks of that would be too much for me. I think I'd have to break up with my girlfriend at the time for 2 weeks. Like comparison is the thief of joy, and all she did was just compare herself to Sadie 300,000 times without Sadie even knowing it. I was about to be like, Sadie's also I thought it was going to be like a Sadie sucks here too thing, but it wasn't even Sadie. It was a bot account she made. I mean, good on her for being able to make bot accounts. That's cool, I guess, but come on, man. That's absolutely abysmal. We should not be doing that in relationships. All right, on to the last one. All right, this is going to be the last one. It's pretty short, and it looked silly, so we're going to do it. This one is also from Relationship Advice, and it says, how do I, 19 female, tell a girl that I'm dating, 18 female, that I don't want to be with her because of brain rot and dogs? She's a really sweet person. She has a nice personality, but oh my god, I can't ignore that brain rot anymore. This sounds like something made up from a YouTube short with Minecraft parkour in the background. But I promise, it's real. We've been dating for a few weeks, and at first I thought it was just a little quirk of hers, and that I would get over it. She would send those wolves ripping their shirt off memes to text me and call herself alpha. Admittedly, a little funny. But the worst part is when I'm trying to be sexy or intimate or compliment her at all in a way that's meant to be serious, she says, boom shakalaka. And it says... and it says that it's because she's shy and doesn't know what else to say. The worst time is when she responded with a shirtless pic of me with that and the 3 blushing emojis. Nothing else. She also constantly calls herself or me nonchalant, and it's getting too much. She says she also hates dogs. Says it's a green flag that she doesn't like them. I don't know. I kind of adore dogs with my whole heart. I have a dog. I want more dogs. This seems silly, but it's kind of a major red flag. But basically, I don't know how to tell her that I don't see her romantically anymore over these things. They seem like such silly things, and I feel like an ass if I just said it outright. Any advice? You don't have to tell her any of this. Just say that she's a nice girl, but you're not feeling the chemistry, and then peace out. And then OP said, wait. Yeah, I don't have to tell her the actual reason. I don't know why I didn't think of that. I've been trying to come up with a way to tell her for at least like a few days. I feel so dumb. Someone said, I'm not feeling a romantic connection. Boom shakalaka. See that? Yeah, that's definitely a Reddit comment. Anyways, boom shakalaka is crazy. Also, to get a shirtless picture and just send emojis. You got aura, twin. Alright. Thank you for watching The Wise Tree of Slop. Let me know if you want more videos like this. These are kind of fun to make, to be honest with you. I like just yapping, and I also love playing Mario Kart. If you want to see stuff like this in the future, just hit that like button. And if you have any other games you want me to play in the background, why don't you just comment that game down below? That'd be silly. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.